guys, welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be a Q&A. I am very excited about this video because I've never done one of these before, but I've always wanted to do one, and I really enjoy watching other YouTubers make these videos because you learn so much more about them through fun questions. So I asked you guys on Instagram and my YouTube community page what you guys wanted to know, and I got a bunch of questions and I'm just going to go through them on here. I've read a few of them, but I wanted to leave some of them as like a surprise, so I didn't know exactly what I was walking into with this. Also, you may be wondering where I'm at right now. I am at my mom's house because I was just in the area and she has great natural lighting, and for those who know where I live, it doesn't have the best lighting, so I don't have to use my ring light, which is like the best feeling ever, and it's so quiet where she lives, so I just really like it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start with this first question, and they asked, how did you start vlogging and how did you get over being shy, and what tips would you give to someone starting a YouTube channel? Okay, so how did I start vlogging? So I actually started a YouTube channel because of my friend Mallory. For those who don't know about Mallory, I can get into that later because I did see one question about her, but she's a big YouTuber and she really encouraged me to share my style and my life on YouTube. And at the time I was doing more Instagram and just social media type of stuff, and she just was like, you gotta get on YouTube and just like create a channel and just see what happens. And I was so nervous, and I still get really nervous when I film, so I can't say I'm like totally over being camera shy, but it definitely has gotten better as I filmed more videos. I think I've filmed over 100 now, so definitely takes time to get used to the camera and talking to like a camera, but now I kind of see it as like talking to someone, which is kind of weird, but I feel like you get in that headspace the more you film videos. You just get really comfortable with the camera. But yeah, when I first started, I was so nervous, and I remember being really discouraged because I was like, there's no way I'm ever gonna figure this out. I would turn on the camera and I would just like freeze up and like lock up, and I was like, I don't know how to talk as a human being, and it was just so bad. And I just remember stumbling through those old videos, and I didn't feel like I had really like a personality. So you definitely develop being more comfortable in front of the camera, and you definitely will develop your own voice and your personality as you get more comfortable. But that's how I started vlogging. A friend told me to start vlogging, and so I was like, well, okay. And it's been a lot of fun. Like, I really enjoy vlogging, and since Jason has been a part of my life too, like we love vlogging together. The next question is, what is your age? I feel like I've maybe stated this, but I am 23. My birthday is on December 29th. The next question is, where do you get your style inspo? My style inspo, I would say, probably comes from Instagram at this point. It used to be Pinterest, but now I really feel like Instagram kind of influences most of us. My style is like really classic, and it's really basic. I don't know if I would call it basic, but I definitely like to stick with the more classic pieces that can be worn a lot of different ways. I'm not really like an out there type of style person. I used to want to be like really outrageous and like different, but then I realized that I really feel the most comfortable in like a pair of really nice jeans and a really nice sweater, or like just very simple pieces. So that's how I would describe my style, simple. Do you have a fitness routine? So for those who have been with the channel for a year, you know that we got a gym membership in the middle of last year. And before that, I had no fitness routine. I wasn't working out. I was not really being healthy. Getting a gym membership really changed our perspective on how we want to live our lives. And so now our fitness routine is we go Monday, Wednesday, Friday to the gym, and I usually run 1 to 2 miles, and then I'll do squats or some kind of weights, and then sometimes I do abs, but I really just like to run, so that's kind of my routine. Do you cook food for yourself every day? We try to cook at least 1 to 2 meals at home every day. We love making breakfast, so breakfast is something that we do cook like every single day. Sometimes, depending on our work day, we'll go out for lunch. So if I have meetings, I'll be out for lunch, and then sometimes we'll get dinner with friends. So our days never look the same. We're always doing something different, but we do try to cook at home whenever we can. The next one is, where do you want to travel? I would love to go to Italy. I've been wanting to go there for a really long time. And then Jason and I would also like to do some sort of ski trip in Colorado. And I would also like to go to LA. I haven't been to LA in a really long time. Hopefully one day we can make it out there. How is married life compared compared to single life. I'll compare married life to dating life. Married life is a lot more fun, but it's also a lot harder. Like when you're living with somebody on top of somebody all the time. We don't live in a super big place, so there's not like a lot of room to just go off and like be by yourself. And sometimes you do need like alone time, but being married is the best, and you definitely uncover all of the things that like you may not have known while you were dating. And also you have to really consider the other person in decisions. And then also it's like you have to make priorities to be together. Even though you're together all the time, you have to like make it a priority to also like be intentional and spend like one-on-one time together. Any new plans for your YouTube channel? Well, we are going on tour in about a week. For a couple months we'll be gone, so we're gonna be in a different city pretty much every single day. So the channel is gonna change a little bit because my videos are gonna change. So I'll be doing a lot of travel diary vlogs and more just like weekly vlogs. I don't know how often I'll be able to do these type of sit down videos, but when I'm back in town, I'm definitely gonna try to film when I can. So for the next 2 months, things are probably just gonna shift a little bit, but nothing crazy as far as like new plans. I really like where my channel's at right now. I have a mixture of lifestyle vlogs and fashion, and I feel like it's kind of in that sweet spot of where I feel like I'm getting to do all the things that I really like. How did you get into thrifting? Well, my friend who used to live in Nashville got me into thrifting, and we used to go thrifting all the time and shoot all the looks, and it was a really fun way to be creative and also a really great way to try out different styles and looks without having to like commit to spending a lot of money to achieve that look. So I used it as an outlet to be creative and also freshen up my wardrobe without having to spend a lot of money. Being a blogger, there's so much pressure to always update your wardrobe and always have a new look for photos, and I just got really overwhelmed with the thought of like, well, I can't spend thousands of dollars every week to like buy all these new clothes to shoot. So I really got into thrifting to expand my wardrobe and also do it in a way that was affordable. Can you talk more about your faith and your relationship with Jawaz? Well, Jawaz and I have been married since March 3rd, so our 1-year anniversary is coming up and I'm very excited. We met in college and we kind of knew we were gonna get married from the start. So we dated for about 3 years and then we got engaged and then we got married 6 months later. But our relationship is, I don't know, I can't really like sum it up in a 30-second period, but our relationship means a lot to me, and he's my best friend and he's my cheerleader, and I'm the same for him, and we just work every day to grow our relationship, and we definitely keep the Lord at the center of our relationship. That's super important to us. We don't talk a lot about it on YouTube or on Instagram or social media because we feel like it is kind of a private part of our lives, but yeah, we are definitely sold out to loving the Lord and loving people. What is something you enjoy about having a social media job and something you don't enjoy? What I really enjoy about being on social media is, number one, the connections with people. I love that viewers or subscribers feel like they can message me and talk to me like a real person. I think that's so cool. A lot of my time last year, I went through like a lot of loneliness, and I feel like YouTube and Instagram was really kind of there for me when I didn't really feel like I had a lot of friends. And so I built a community kind of on YouTube that I valued a lot, and so I love that aspect. I also really like that the schedule is really flexible. I can work whenever I want, which is really nice. But something I don't enjoy about it is just the competitiveness that there is in that space. I feel like there's always people comparing, and sometimes you can get caught up in comparing your lives to others or comparing your numbers to others or your success. You can just really get in your head about if you feel like you're doing good enough, and I don't really like that about it. I really want to be able to look at my channel and be thankful for it and just keep on going my own way versus like looking at what other people are doing. I think that can sometimes be really difficult. And then another thing that I don't really like about it is that I'm working whenever I want, so I can work from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed, which isn't always healthy. So it's definitely hard to find that balance if you're not like used to it. When are you and Jason planning to have kids? Probably not for another 7 years. I really would like to start having kids kind of around 30, maybe like 28 to 30 is probably when I'm thinking. But honestly, like we have so many other things that we would just like to do and also kind of get lined up before we have kids. We really want to just like get our debts paid off and get a house, kind of like settle in before we have kids. Plus we haven't even been married a year, so I would really like some more time with just Jason. Another one about, do you want children? Yes, we want children though. And also, how many do we want? Probably want 2. I think we've both settled on like 2. We definitely want more than 1. I'm an only child. We want more than 1 kid, but I don't think we want 4, so maybe 2 to 3. What Christian music do you recommend? So I really like listening to worship music. I don't listen to a ton of like radio Christian music. I really like Bethel and Hillsong. Those are probably my go-tos. What do you think is the biggest thing that led to your success on social media? I've talked about this before, but back in 2015, I was on Instagram suggested user list, which means that they just put my account out in front of thousands of people and they were like, we appreciate your account and we see all the hard work you're putting into it. So they like put my account out there for everybody, and I think that really was what kickstarted me into blogging and influencing. I don't even really like to call it that, but that's what it's technically called, I guess. What do you recommend to people wanting to start YouTube? My number one thing that I recommend to people is to just start your channel. And the reason I say that is because I started my channel and then I like stopped doing it for a few months, and I was only putting up videos like once every 3 months and there was no consistency in it. But I think what really got me into like investing into YouTube was just making that mental shift and deciding that I was gonna put out a video every week, and then it turned into 2 videos every week, and then there was one point where I was doing 3 videos a week, and it was a lot. But I'm so glad I did that because it really just solidified that like, hey, I love this, it's worth my time, it's worth my effort, and even if nobody's watching, like I really enjoy doing this. I think that just starting and making that mental decision that you're gonna start a YouTube channel is huge. Like it's all a mental battle, I feel like, with YouTube, because nothing's really stopping you from starting a channel. It's all in your head. And when I realized that, it totally shifted my mindset. Have you lived in Nashville your whole life, and how did you get there? I actually was adopted, so I was born in China and then I was adopted at 13 months and was brought to Nashville. So technically I have not been here my whole life, but I've been here my whole life and I love Nashville, and I don't know if I'll move ever because I really love this city. It's really cool and it's growing and it's becoming something really awesome, but I do keep my mind open to possibly moving one day. When did your style start to shape into what it is now? I feel like style itself is like a personal journey, and sometimes you like lose yourself along the way, but you like always find yourself again. I've always been into very classic pieces and just very simple pieces, and then somewhere along like a couple years ago I started wearing like really funky things, and then it's just sort of come back to like really classic, really simple pieces. But style is always evolving, and I think that you just have to be open to wherever you feel led with your style. Like I don't ever think you should close yourself off from being like, well, that's not my style, because style is always changing. And so I have no idea what my style will be in 6 months, but for right now, I just feel like I've landed in a really sweet spot of like appreciating that my style is really basic and classic, but also like knowing that if I want to add something funky, I totally can. And then someone asked another pup. I would like another dog, but honestly, we don't have a backyard, so it doesn't really make sense to get 2 dogs right now. Maybe when we get like a fenced in backyard, I would love to have 2 dogs. And Jason would also love to have 2 dogs. We really want to get a golden retriever or some kind of like golden doodle. I feel like that would be such a good fit for Riley. I would love her to have a friend. Who's your favorite on the season of The Bachelor? Y'all, this is my first time ever watching The Bachelor, and I can't say it's wholesome because it's definitely not, but it is like so addicting to watch, and I don't know why. It's like the drama. But my favorite is Cassie. I think that's her name. She is the girl from California, super cute. She seems like really normal, which a lot of them don't, so she doesn't cause drama, so I like her. Do you ever think you're too old to start a YouTube channel? I'm 25, but don't know. 25 is not old. 25 is only 2 years older than me, and I know tons of people who are older than 25 who have YouTube channels, so I don't think you are ever too old to start a YouTube channel. If it's something that you're passionate about and something that you feel like is worth sharing, then age shouldn't matter, because there are people out there who are your age who watch YouTube, and they probably are looking for somebody who's their age who they can relate to. So don't ever think that age should stop you from sharing your story and your personality with people, because I feel like there's space for everyone, no matter how old you are, no matter what race you are. I feel like YouTube is such an inclusive space that you will find your audience, and 25 is literally not that old. Like, you're fine. What's some college school advice, and was finding jobs for you guys difficult after leaving? My number one piece of college advice would be to soak it all in while you're there. We were only in school for 2 years. College just goes by so fast, whether you're there for 1 year to 4 years to longer. It's just a really sweet time where you don't really have that many responsibilities, but it's just such a sweet time. You're constantly surrounded by friends, and you should just soak it in. Like, that's my number one piece of advice, is to just be in the moment and enjoy it. Even though classes can be hard and things can be frustrating and tough, like, college is still a really cool experience. And was it hard finding jobs? Not for us, because I was doing what I do now while I was in school, so I kind of had an on-ramp into blogging and YouTube. For Jason, he worked in a coffee shop for a while after school, but it's all about who you know. So we found that, like, being in the blogging industry and then also the music industry, it's all relational. So it was more about us just meeting the right people to lead to jobs. But I know a lot of people who, like, graduated and got degrees and had a hard time finding jobs, but then I also know people who went right into working. So it's case by case, but I would just say keep your options open and try to stay positive through job searching. What are your favorite jewelry pieces? Well, my favorite jewelry pieces are my rings, obviously, but I have worn this choker pretty much every single day. I never take it off, even when I work out, even when I shower. And this chain is like a beaded chain from Mallory, and I love, love, love their pieces. I'm actually one of their ambassadors, so I do have a link in the description box for 10% off, I think. So the chain is from them, and then this little pendant, I can't remember where it's from. I wear this all the time. It's classic, and it peaks right above any type of sweaters, so I really like that. And then usually I'm wearing some sort of pinky ring from Mallory as well, but overall, my favorite dainty jewelry brand is Mallory. I don't even know if I'm saying that right still. What was your job before becoming an influencer? I was actually a photographer and a photographer's assistant. So I was doing both of those. And then before that, I worked for my aunt. And then in high school, I worked at TJ Maxx. So I used to work in retail, and those are my jobs. Do you read any devotionals? So I only read one devotional, and it's the Jesus Calling devotional. And then I just read my Bible and I journal. I haven't really branched out in devotionals, although I probably should. I'm sure there are tons out there. I just don't know that many. How did you and Mallory meet? We actually met at a salon event. We were both bloggers, which we still are, but we went to this event. I ran into her. She gave me her business card, and then we met up for coffee a few days later, and Mallory is like the sweetest, kindest person ever. How do you keep a consistent theme on Instagram? I would say your editing technique is a huge thing. I just like to make sure that my photos are kind of consistent in that I have natural lighting. Most of them are of me, so that's kind of kept the grid consistent, but it's mostly your editing style. So I just choose one filter in Visco to use, and I just put that on all of my photos, and I edit them all the same way, and that's how I make them all look cohesive. How did you learn photography? Photography has always been an interest of mine growing up, but I really got into it in college when someone asked me to shoot photos for their EP, and I had no idea what I was doing, but it led to me just exploring photography more and learning the technical side of it. That really got me into it because I had to learn it for the shoot, but you can literally learn anything on the internet. How did you get the courage to share your life on social media? I don't know if it was really planned that I would be on social media or do YouTube. I really never had that deep dream to do it. I kind of fell into it, and it's the best thing that I've ever done, but it came really gradual. When I first started to kind of put my life out on Instagram, it felt kind of silly. I wondered, does anybody care? Is anybody watching? Why am I doing this? But I knew that I really wanted to capture my life in a way that was true to me and in my own style. So I think what helped me get over that fear was knowing that no matter what people thought about what I was posting, I knew that I really liked what I was doing. I felt like I had something worth sharing, and you just kind of get used to it as you go. It feels really silly at first, and a lot of people will be like, why are you doing that? And people will question it. Any advice for someone who wants to become an influencer? My number one piece of advice for somebody who's wanting to kind of step into being an influencer is that everybody is doing it right now, but nobody is you and nobody can be you. So really play into that and take advantage of how different and unique you are, because your style and your personality and the things that you share are going to be different than others. So instead of trying to copy someone else and be like someone else, I would say really take advantage of being unique and different and just show people that, and they'll really like it. How do you edit your pictures on Instagram? I use VSCO, and I also use the Lightroom app with a preset. How often do you go thrifting? And could you possibly do a swimsuit haul in the summer? I go thrifting once every couple of weeks now. I used to go every single week, but then I kind of got a little burnt out, so I started to scale back. So I go every couple of weeks. Could you possibly do a swimsuit haul in the summer? I will think about that as I get into better shape, maybe, but we will see. I can't promise a swimsuit haul because I don't know how great I feel being in a bathing suit on the internet. How to find the perfect mom jean that fit you. Well, every body type is different, so I can't really speak on how to find a perfect mom jean that fits you, but I would definitely say just trial and error. Maybe find a brand that you really like. Madewell makes great mom jeans. The ones I'm wearing today are from Mott & Bow, and I really like these ones because they're super soft and they have more give in them, so they're really comfortable to wear throughout the day. I have a pair of Levi mom jeans, and their denim does not stretch at all. There's so many denim brands out there. How do you deal with being young and living financially independent? So sometimes that just means that you don't get to go on the trip, or you don't get to eat out all the time, or you can't go to the movies. So it's definitely different, but also like we chose the life of being married and being financially independent, and I feel like it's really grown us in character, and it's really helped us to be more disciplined with money, and I feel like it's really prepared us for the future and kind of set us up with the mindset of, okay, if we want to buy a house, like we really need to take steps on getting out of debt, kind of trying to get ahead a little bit, and just learning to be content with where you are. If you are young and financially independent, like that's amazing, and that's something that like you should be proud of, because like you're taking care of yourself, and at a young age, like that's a really big deal. And so even though sometimes it can be really difficult and frustrating if you feel like you're alone in that, it's really a good thing, and it's really building your character, and it's probably making you grow. What do you do for self-care? I really like candles, and I've been painting more, so I really like to just do things that I enjoy. So I do journaling, devotion. I love face masks and skincare. That's part of my self-care, but mostly just like watching TV and just relaxing in my sweats. That is like what makes me feel relaxed. But that is all I have time for. I have a bunch more questions, so maybe I'll do another Q&A part 2 later down the road. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned some more about me. If you liked it though, please give it a big thumbs up and leave me a comment. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's just @bychloewen, and that's where you guys can see a lot more day-to-day life. I post a lot on there, so don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I would love to have you back for some more videos, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!